Hello crafty friend, I'm Justine Dvorak from Stationery by Justine, where when I craft, my world stands still. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make something kind of like this that I'm showing you at the beginning, with kind of like a dreamy watercolor background and with some butter press plates and some watercolor paper. So I have 3 cards that I am going to be doing that with today. And I'm using the new Peacock Paradise collection from Dawn. Oh my goodness, I love this one. Oh, my summer has been crazy busy, full of a lot of planning and organizing. I just took a trip up north and I came back. I colored these on my trip on vacation. I pressed them. I even took my platinum, big 8.5-inch platinum up on my trip. And I pressed these out and I colored them with Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. So this is just penciled, and now I'm going to add some water to activate the pencil color. So when I watercolor, I like to spray the back like I just did there and my surface. And then I just pressed it down with my pokey tool to keep everything from warping. So this is going to be a 2-part situation with this collection, and I do not do this very often on my channel because frankly I do not have time for multiple videos for a collection, but this collection is beyond. It needs to, because this collection has inspired me to show a little bit of watercoloring and glimmering. So this one's watercolor. The next one tomorrow will be glimmering. So with this one, I want to have the background be vintage-ish, so I'm using some Altenew watercolors, and I'm just going to add kind of a little bit of a wash of water on the back like I already did, and then I'm going to come in with brown here and just kind of fill in any of the areas where the background shows. And I'm really going to beef up the edges with some darker tones to almost make the peacock look like it's kind of glowing, or there's a light source behind it. And if that seems really crazy and intimidating, don't worry. It's not that complicated. We're just adding water, we're adding color. This is just my first layer of just a very light brown. So that's a vintage look as it is, but like I said, I want to make the edges look kind of vintagey. So I'm gonna just tap little tiny taps all around the edge, and now the paper is wet. The paint that I'm adding on is also wet, so this watercolor paper kind of helps blend. So as time goes on here during this video, you're going to see that color kind of move around because the water and the paper are working together to move that paint around, if you will. So it helps if your surface is flat. I'm using a glass board, and that definitely is super easy for cleaning. But just by tapping and just lightly tapping, adding in darker colors as I go, I'm kind of going clockwise. I don't know if that's just my brain, how it works, but that's kind of what I'm doing here. But making these really cool backgrounds like this makes the sentiment pop. And I will be showing that in my next video, tomorrow's video on Sunday, when I do the glimmering, because at the end of the glimmer video, I'm showing you all of the cards I've made with this Peacock collection, which is a lot. I think it's over 10. Anyway, I'm going to my metallic palette now, and I'm just getting some of that dark, kind of a brown gold, kind of like a bronzy color. Just gonna spray it to get a little bit more wet, and again I'm just kind of bouncing my paintbrush around, all around. Now paintbrushes, let's talk for a second. This one I was sent by Spellbinders a while ago. I don't know if it's still on the website. I really like this one. I have paintbrushes from when I was in art school, not art school, but when I was in school taking art classes in high school and college. So it's a paintbrush. If you want to use the same one I do, if it's on the website, I will link it, but I like a traditional paintbrush like this that I'm using. And again, it's from Spellbinders, but I think it's not like their brand, but they carry it. Anyway, like I said, I like a traditional paintbrush, but you can use the water brushes and get a really cool result. My brain is just kind of trained more with a traditional brush, so that's kind of what I reach for a lot of the times, but you can see I have that water brush right there because I do pull it out and use it. I love using the water brush with Tim Holtz watercolor pencils, and if you're looking for a tutorial on those, I definitely have one on my channel, so you can check that out as well. But I like the control that my hand and eyes know with a traditional brush. All right, now this, before I go crazy and add way more color, I'm just gonna stop here because I'm liking the blue-green tones I'm getting with the brown. So I'm just gonna pick it up gently, set it on a plastic container that I just have in my craft room, off to the side, far away from me, because if it's close, I'm gonna sit and pick at it. And that's not good because now the paint is just gonna hang out, chill out, and dry, and it's gonna be really cool, I promise. All right, now I have my second piece down. I put water behind it and on top. I'm gonna activate my watercolors again. That Mighty Mr. spray bottle is a game changer. You need a spray bottle. If you don't have a spray bottle in your craft room, I recommend that one. But if you have one in your house that you're not using, use that one. It's getting water onto your project. That's the most important part. All right, for this one, we're making some peacock feathers, and I'm gonna take some artistic liberties with this one and make a very washed out, not washed out, but very like watery, dreamy looking peacock feather, because peacocks, I don't know if you've ever heard of peacock. If you have not heard of peacock, you need to pause this video and you need to Google peacock sounds, because they're nuts. They sound crazy. We actually have one in our town and I hear it almost every day. It sounds crazy, but I think they're really beautiful birds, and these feathers are just like, I don't even know. They're very, what's it called? Opulent. Now, what in the world did I just do there? I thought for a second that I would spray or splatter. That was bad. Do you see all those little splatters are like making lines? I didn't like it, so I just made them go away by washing them around. Anyway, peacocks are really pretty. They're opulent. They're like kind of like a regal kind of bird. So I really just went a little crazy with this one and colored outside the lines. Yes, you can do that just like me. I won't tell on you. But getting that green and blue just to kind of mix together was really fun, and adding in some of these darker tones to those little spots just to me looked really good. I like the two bottom ones, how they turned out when it dried. This top one, for whatever reason, definitely washed out a little more, and I think it was because of that motion that I just did. So I could go back and add a layer, because with watercolor, once it dries, you can add more on top. So that's an option, but look at that sentiment. It just pops with that background being darker and with the white paper sentiment. Love it. By the way, if you are impatient and you don't want to wait for your watercolor to dry naturally, you can go ahead and take your heat embossing gun, if you have a heat gun in your craft room, or a hairdryer, and you can dry it. You just have to be kind of careful. If your project is very, very wet and has what I would call standing water, like what my desk has there, that is standing water, it's going to blow around. So just be cautious. Go on a light setting or a low setting and spray away, and your project will dry. Now, when I said peacocks were unhinged, I was speaking about, I guess, this project, because this last one I go very, very heavy-handed with a purple indigo around the background, and it is very dark. So I don't know if I really love how this photographs on video and on camera. It looks very, very, very bright, but in person it looks way better. But this purple that I'm using is stunning, but for whatever reason on camera it is like a lot. So just know that it looks better in person, which happens sometimes with vibrant colors, but whatever. I'm not a photographer, so I can only do what I can do, but like I said, it looks better in person. So if you have watercolor questions, I would love to answer them below. I've done a lot of watercolor kind of tutorials and things, either on a live event with Melanie with our Better Press Babes lives, or just on Better Press videos. So make sure to watch a few of those if you're interested. But if you have specific questions, I can try to answer them as best as possible in the comments. If you're looking for a good watercolor paper, I would recommend the Spellbinders watercolor paper or the LDRS watercolor paper. It is white, and I like that it is kind of like a stark white. So that LDRS paper is fantastico, and they're coming out with 5x7 panels. So yay, LDRS Creative, you rock. They're an awesome company. If you haven't heard of them, you need to check them out. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed today and learned a little bit, or saw the process, if you will, with my watercoloring. I know sometimes I get comments like, whoa, how'd you make that? Or here I am making it. So I hope this answers questions. Like I said, just be playful and have fun with watercolors, because with watercoloring, it's kind of forgiving. So if you really mess up, you can always take a wet or dry paper towel onto a wet project and kind of dab it, and it will lift some of the water and color off as well. So just a little tip for you if you were wondering. But like I said, when these are all dry and such, I'm going to pop a little bit of audio or video on the screen of what they look like when they are dry with a little bit of YouTube magic. And then on tomorrow's video, I will finish them up with a sentiment and do some glimmering with this fabulous collection that Dawn put out with Spellbinders. She also has fabulous dies, so be sure to check that out. I love this collection. So well done, Dawn and Spellbinders. Anyway, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment for more videos like this from me in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, crafty friend.